I'm going to restart. I don't know where I left off. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Enrich Masters, what it is that we do, what you can expect from us, and all that stuff. So when it comes to the Q&A, I do ask that you guys stay on mute and then write your questions in the chat box below. That way I can read them off and answer any and all questions you have that I may not have gotten to, or if it's something you want more clarification on, I'd be more than happy to go over it again. So first, we're going to go over the different programs that will be offered at Palm Cove. So let me pull that up. Most of you should have already seen all these programs, but I'm going to list them off anyway in case you didn't see them all. We're going to have basketball ballers, robotics and engineering, pottery and ceramics, as well as tennis, and that will be starting now in the fall. Specifically, September 7th is going to be our first day of programs. In the spring, on the other hand, we're going to have our drumline program, fashion design, film production, and science experiments club. So if you are curious about what specifically will be covered in those programs, and it's natural to be curious, you want to know, what these kids are going to be doing, where's my money going? You want to know what's going on. So I invite you, you do not have to do so right now, but whenever you get the chance, on our website in our About column, you will see our programs listed, and you'll be able to look at them in more detail. There's a little tab that says more info, and that will actually provide you with a sample curriculum, just to give you an idea of the different things that are going to be covered during the program time. That said, we're going to go ahead and move on from the sample curriculum. The curriculum is developed all by our instructors who are very, very well versed in their fields. They're experts in everything that they're doing in all their programs. We hire them specifically tailored to these programs, so you can rest assured that the program is going to be, or the curriculum will be created by someone who knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about. So just to give you an idea, personally, I'm not a tennis player personally, but so it wouldn't make sense for me to make the tennis curriculum. So we have a tennis instructor here to make their own curriculum. That way, then we know exactly what's going on. Moving forward from the sample curriculum, I'd like to discuss the final projects. We work on a project-based model. And for those of you who may not be aware of what that is, pretty much that is, yes, we are teaching them the basics and the fundamentals of the programs that they're enrolled in. However, we are working towards one final project or presentation. So I'll use the drumline as an example. Last year, the drumline program, for their final presentation, we had a drumline competition between the different schools that were participating. So it was Eagle Point Elementary, Indian Trace Elementary, both in Weston, Banyan Elementary in Sunrise, and Silver Lakes in Pines. Pines, Miramar? Up there. So we had a drumline competition where, the parents got to come, and there was, a guest drumline from Dillard High School. We made it a whole spectacle. All right, that's really what we're reaching towards. We don't want to just be like, okay, here's for pottery and ceramics, say, here's a vase that I made, let's get a grade on it. No, it's not based on a grade or anything. It is based on the enrichment. We want these kids to have a sense of accomplishment with these final performances and presentations. So rest assured, you can expect something, a larger scale event towards the end of the fall, so like December. That is when we'll have our presentation for the fall. And then in May, early June, we'll have our presentation for the spring semester. And, we try to shake it up. Every year do a little something different. But again, we want to, I'm a little theatrical, so I'm going to keep using the word spectacle. That's what we want to make out of this. I'm going to go ahead and move on to a question that I've gotten from a lot of parents. Can my child switch programs? And the simple answer to that is yes, your child can switch programs. However, what I do discourage, or what we discourage, is repetitive switching, frequent switching. So for example, the first month, you're in actors and screenwriters. You know what? I realize it's not for me. Let me try basketball instead. Jump into basketball. Great. You know what? Basketball is not for me either. Let me try drumline. Blah, blah, blah. And the hopping around is what we discourage. Not because we don't want these kids to experience new and different things, but because that final project or presentation will be, they'll be kind of falling behind or starting a little bit later. And therefore, we don't want them to get frustrated because they're behind. And that causes a whole other issue, because even though they might be passionate about what they're doing, when you're behind and you're frustrated, it makes you kind of resent the activity a little bit. But that's really what we want to do. We want to help kids. This is the age where kids really start finding what it is that they're passionate about. And that's why we offer a total of 24 different programs that we can bring on site to these schools, because we want them to experience something that they may not have had access to. I'll use a nearby city to you guys, Weston, as an example. There's 1,000,001 soccer programs in Weston. You could, throw a stone and you could find a soccer program out there, but you'll find very few, if not zero, drumline programs. And the kids who maybe want to try that out now have the opportunity to do so because of how unique the programs are. So that's our core. We want the kids to find what they're passionate about by giving them access to these unique programs. So that said, I'm going to quickly move along to explain to you how the day-to-day procedures are going to go. As I'm sure you all are aware at this point, but if you're not, I'll go over it anyway. Enrichment Masters, we come out to schools once per week. So it is 1 day per week. So I said we'd be starting at Palm Cove on the 7th, which is Wednesday of next week. So you can expect us to be there every Wednesday. We're not going to come on Thursdays, not going to come on Tuesdays, every Wednesday. We run all of our programs from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Palm Cove might be one of the schools that has a slightly later dismissal time. But regardless, you can expect that, the 1 hour time blocks, that's what's going to be happening, regardless of what school we're at. So what will happen is I'm going to go through each, child's unique dismissal procedure and let you know how we would go about it. So the first and the easiest is if a child is in aftercare. If a child's in aftercare, on the on-site aftercare, then simply what would happen is that when it comes time for them to come to their enrichment program, they would let their aftercare counselors know, hey, I'm going to be, I have enrichment masters today. Granted, we communicate, we speak to the aftercare people, so we're all on the same page. But hey, I have drumline today. That way the counselor knows, okay, you're present, but you are at drumline. Great, got it, so they can mark it down. They come to us, we mark our own attendance from 2 to 3, all right, we do the drumline program. At 3 p.m., the aftercare students go back to their aftercare group, and that's it for aftercare. Really, really simple. They report back to their counselor, everyone's good. If a child is a walker or a car rider, those students do need to get picked up by you, the parents. We'll give you information about specifically where the pickup location will be. And at that location, you will be able to sign them out. One thing that I do want to mention, as tedious as it can be, please make sure that you bring a photo ID with you. It is a safety measure that we have to take. It is one of our protocols that we have to follow. So when you filled out the registration form, at the bottom, you had a list of authorized adults of who can pick up your child. If it's not just you, please let anybody on that list know that if they're going to pick them up and sign them out from the Enrichment Masters program, they need to have that photo ID. I know it can get really annoying, like, oh, but that's my kid. He knows who I am. It's like, that's wonderful, but we need to make sure. We need to make sure that we're dismissing them to the correct adults. So the first few times, until we all get to know each other, you guys are gonna have to present your IDs to the site supervisor in order to dismiss. If your child is a bike rider, they ride their bike home, you may also pick them up and sign them out like I just described for the walkers and the car riders. However, you do not have to. The bikers are a little bit different. If they ride their bike to school, they will be escorted back to their bikes by an Enrichment Masters staff member, and then they'd be able to ride back home like normal. They do not require a sign out. So those are the dismissal procedures. Those, I know those are most things that most parents have questions about. So I want to make sure that everyone's on the same page with that. If you guys want me to go into more detail, please ask me more during the Q&A session. And yeah, so we're going to move right along. On days where it is raining, rainy days, unless the program is an outdoor program, or sorry, an indoor program, in reverse, unless the program is an outdoor program, it won't get affected by a rainy day. So the outdoor programs, whether it be basketball, tennis, drumline, stuff like that, they will be affected by rainy days, and we will have a backup location still on campus. We're not going to cancel the class. We're not going to cancel the program. What's this? Oh, parents, if you'll allow me, someone has just joined the meeting. It's Daniel Vesey. He is the other program director alongside with me. He wanted to hop in and say hello. So Mr. Vesey, if at any time you want to say hi, let me know. I'll take that as a, we'll talk later. Anyway, so we're talking about rainy days.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, there he is. We will not be canceling the class by any means if there is a rainy day. Sorry, not lastly, almost there. We're almost done before we get to the Q&A. As far as the payments go, the payment, if you've already registered your child and you've made the payment, their spot for the first month is secure. So you don't have to worry about making another payment until the end of September. The payments cover 4 sessions. So again, I'll pull up my calendar just to give you guys an example. If you guys are starting on the 7th next week, so the payment that you've made covers September 7th, September 14th, September 21st, and the 28th. So you wouldn't have to worry about a payment until the end of September. Now you can go in and make the payment manually, just like you did on the website. That's not a problem. However, we will have an option for automatic billing. If you'd like to opt in for that, you can do that as well. I know, you guys got 1,000,001 things going on. Sometimes the payment might slip your mind. So, excuse me, we want to have that option available to you guys. If you do opt for that alternative, then we'll send you a notification a few days prior to when the payment is due, just to give you a heads up. Hey, the payment's coming up, so that you are made aware. Moving on from the payments, the last thing I'd like to mention is the last 2 things is whenever you get the chance, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. The reason I'm saying that is because many of the programs, Drumline, for example, will be uploading the practice videos for the students to be able to practice at home onto our YouTube channel. So if your child enrolled in the Drumline or Stepping, for example, Stepping is a different program that we offer, we'll be uploading the practice videos on there so the kids can practice at home. And on the topic of practicing at home, you may have noticed on our website, the EM shop. Now, the one thing I'd like to stress, none of the materials in the EM shop are required for the program. They are all optional. However, we do encourage them to be purchased. For example, the drumsticks, that is something that would be necessary in order to do an at-home practice. Or for example, the robotics and engineering, we do have a robotics kit that can be used for at-home practice as well. So again, you do not have to. It is not a requirement. It is just something supplemental we want to make sure we have at least available to you guys. That is really it from me. And unless Mr. VC would like to chime in and say anything, we're going to go ahead and begin with the Q&A. Are materials provided for the sketching program? Yes. All the materials, all the equipment, the instructors, the curriculum is something that we bring to the school. That is not going to be an additional cost to you guys. Now, if your child has their own set of colored pencils that they want to use, special that they got for their birthday or something, by all means, they can use it. They can totally bring it. They are going to be responsible for their own items, but they can do that 100%. But the short answer, yes, we provide all the materials needed for all the programs. If my child is doing a program at 2, basketball, and then signed up for another at 3, will they be escorted to the next program? Yes. So when we have, when that first program ends, we immediately meet back at our meeting location. Anybody that needs to switch classes will switch and go to that instructor, and they'll be taken to that next program. Anybody who's going back to aftercare goes to aftercare. Anybody who needs to be signed out will stay with the site supervisor. Also, how do we sign up for the auto payments? No, you didn't miss that. That is still, that is an option that will be available at the end of September. When it does become fully active, then we will send out a parent notification so that you guys can make that choice if you want to do that. That said, actually, that brings me to something I forgot to mention. This right here, this orientation is not the only communication we're going to have with you guys. We're going to be sure to be communicating with you guys as much as possible so that everybody's on the same page, everybody's on the same wavelength. So you should be getting emails from us pretty often with updated information, whether it be about rainy days or if it's regarding the final project or the showcase or the competition, anything like that. We will be in contact with you guys. All right. Let's see the other program, or the other question, sorry. Where will parents go to sign students out? Front office? Good question. The specific location is still being finalized by administration, you know, because they're still figuring out all the back to school stuff. So they will let us know what the specific location will be. And then once we know, we will be sure to let you guys know as soon as we're made aware. Is there a contact number for on-site program coordinator? For to reach the site liaison, not specifically. However, if you call the Enrichment Master's phone number, which is 954-641-8774, and I'm going to write that in the chat in case you guys don't already have it. If you need to reach a specific school site liaison, you'll be prompted to, oh, for this school, press 1, press 2, whatever. And then it'll connect you to the site liaison. But a direct phone number, no, it's more of an extension. Okay. Will the prices change every month or will it always be the same amount every month? Good question. We were beginning with just an after school sale, or a back to school sale. However, I believe we've decided to keep that on for the remainder of the school year. Mr. VC, correct me if I'm wrong. If you're still in here? Yes, you are.
Mr. Suarez, you are correct. So the $50 will continue throughout the school year for parents.
Okay, that's what I thought. I wanted to make sure that I was not going to give anybody false information. So there's the phone number. So at this time, if you parents do not have any further questions, then you're free to go. I will stay on here for an additional 10 minutes or so, answering any last minute questions you might have. Again, this is not going to be the only communication that we're going to have with you parents. We'll be sending out emails. If you want to, if something comes up, oh, I forgot to ask this, then please make sure to email us at info, I-N-F-O, like information, at enrichmentmasters.com. That way, one of us on the team, on the administrative team, will be able to get back to you with an answer. But that said, you all are free to go. If you want to stay and hang out and ask more questions, I will be here for another 10 minutes, specifically until 4:35. So for those of you who are leaving, good night. And for those of you who are staying, how's it going? You are very welcome. No problem. Happy to help. For basketball, my son will need to bring a change of clothes, or is an enrichment master's shirt given? No, don't worry about it. So if you would like to bring them a change of clothes, by all means you can. One thing that I would personally recommend is maybe like a sweat towel or something, or a bottle of water, just so that number one, they stay hydrated. But no, we're not going to be providing them with an enrichment master's shirt right out the gate. If you filled out the registration, you probably saw a spot where it said t-shirt size, sweatpant size. That would be more for the uniform. If the children continue in the program and they want to participate in the competition, then perhaps what will happen is that they'll get like uniforms, like a Palm Cove uniform, or depending on the school that they're at, of course. But no, we're not going to give anything right out the gate. If you think change of clothes is the best option, go for it, but it's not required, no. You do the same. Have a great night. Bye-bye.